The express entry route is made up of 3 streams, and these 3 streams are the Canadian Experience class. The Canadian Experience class is for people who have work permit and already in Canada, they've got work experience in Canada, and students who after finishing schooling, they've got experience, so they use this route for permanent residency. This is one route that many people use in the express entry. The second one is the Federal Skilled Worker Program, while the third one, but by no means the least, is the Federal Skilled Trades. These 3 programs that we've just highlighted, they make up Canada's 3 primary economic immigration schemes, and they fall under IRCC Express Entry Scheme. The Canadian Skilled Immigration Point Calculator requires you to have just 67 points for you to be admitted into a pool where from time to time draws are conducted for people to be invited to come to Canada. When skilled people complete their required overseas work experience, they become eligible for Federal Skilled Worker Program, which is the FSWP. While those who are desirous of immigrating to Canada and they have skilled trade like plumbing, mechanic, electrician, millwright, they can utilize the Federal Skilled Trade Program to come into Canada. They can do so using specific trade that, like I've just enumerated. So if you are a welder and you want to come, you can use the skilled trade. If you are a mechanic, you can use the skilled trade. If you are an industrial mechanic, if you are an electrician, you can use the skilled trade. This is huge. And the third route, like we said, is for those who have recently earned work experience in Canada and they are looking for a pathway to permanent residence. So they can utilize the Canadian Experience class. That word experience is simply there because they've acquired experience while being in Canada, either through being a student or on a temporary work permit visa. So once you are desirous of coming into Canada using the express entry, if you meet this qualification, you will be given a comprehensive ranking score. A little later, we are going to talk about those requirements, those things that are evaluated that will give you this mark that we are talking about. Remember, we said that we are looking for just 67 points out of 100 points. You must first be eligible under one of these classes, that is the 3 classes that we've highlighted, which is the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trade Program, or the Canadian Experience class. You have to be eligible first in any of these streams for you to submit an entry. If you are not qualified, there is no need submitting an application in the express entry portal. In fact, it won't allow you, because you need to first check your eligibility to see if you are qualified. And if you are qualified, it gives you a result that, thank you, you are qualified, you can apply through one of these routes. But if you are not qualified, sorry, you have to look for any of the 90-something different routes of coming into Canada. So don't give up. Even if you can't get the express entry, you definitely see a route that is conducive, that is okay for you to come over to Canada. So once you meet these requirements for entering into the express entry profile, from time to time, there are specific draws that are conducted by the IRCC, and this draw, they come up with sporadic numbers that they determine to be cut off. And for people having that cutoff and above are invited to apply. So you'll be given that application that you are given is what they call the ITA, which means an invitation to apply. And once you've gotten that, you should go very fast submitting your application. In most cases, for most programs, that time window is 60 days, which is 2 months. So if you know that you are preparing, ensure that all your paperwork are ready. And once you have that ITA, do not delay. Submit before the deadline. Hence, you will lose your ITA. For you to get the ITA, like we've said, you need to meet the minimum requirements set by the IRCC. They are going to assess your eligibility for this federal skilled worker program based on your age, based on your education, your work experience, whether you have a valid job offer in Canada, and your ability to speak either of the two languages in Canada, which is French and English. Adaptability is also considered. That check is very key, and that simply means, will you be able to settle down? How well you are able to do that? That is what is called adaptability, and that could be checked by you having someone that is close to you living already in Canada, or a spouse that is in Canada already. Now, based on all these required checks that are carried out, how well you do determines whether you qualify to be invited, whether you qualify to use the express entry to apply for permanent residency. Take note, we've mentioned 6 factors that are considered. And for those 6 factors, the IRCC is looking at you scoring 67 and above. If you score 67 points and above, then you can apply using any of those 3 routes, be it the Federal Skilled Worker Programs, be it the Federal Skilled Trade Program, or the Canadian Experience class. But if you scored lower than 67, then you are not qualified to use that route. Is there any option for you if you score less than 67? Of course there is. There are so many options to pick from. While waiting to pick from any of the options, if you choose to, whilst age is still on your side, and you say you want to continue with the express entry, then you can do one of these. You can choose to improve your language capability, that is taking your language test again and aim for a higher score. You can choose to get another degree or diploma or a certificate so that you can get a higher score for the language column of the test. Lastly, if you can and if it is possible, you can arrange to get an employment, that is getting an offer of employment from your home country in Canada. That boosts everything, that changes everything. What if you do not want to use this? Well, you are left with now using things like provincial nominee, the Atlantic Immigration Program, and any other program that is available. Like I did mention, there are close to about more than 80 routes to come to Canada. So just pick and choose. But for you to do, or for you to use this express entry route, you need to check your eligibility first. Many people will find it difficult checking their eligibility. If you are finding it difficult, watch this video that tells you how you can check your eligibility to see if you qualify for express entry. If you find value so far, please do not hesitate. Subscribe to the channel so that we all can continue to grow this community. It becomes bigger and bigger by the day. Like and share this video. Share it out to many people who are still looking for ways to come into Canada. Share the video. Share it. I am looking forward to seeing you in the very next video. Drop your questions and I will probably make a video based on your question. I'll see you in the next video.